Hi everyone, and welcome to another one of my trailer reactions for Patreon. Today we will be doing The Conjuring 3. This one's called The Devil Made Me Do It. And it's not going to be like a typical haunted house horror movie, this one. James Wan said a long time ago that this one is going to be more of like an investigation type movie. So let's take a look at the trailer and see just how much that reigns true. So let's take a look here.
Hey! You okay there? Jesus. I think I hurt someone.
That's probably the most blood we've seen in the Conjuring films.
Alright, let's get started.
Residents of Brookfield were shocked this afternoon by the broad daylight murder of Bruno Sauls.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
Whatever is going on, whatever happened that day, that was not Arnie.
It's a witch's totem. We think your family was cursed. And that connection's still open.
I'm only interested in reality.
But I can see things that your people can't.
That was a cool transition, by the way, to her vision.
Something terrible happened here.
A master Satanist is not an adversary to be taken lightly.
She's doing it again. She's reaching out to the darkness.
Lorraine, you need to come back.
Is saving him worth everything you have? Because that's what it may very well cost.
Lorraine!
That was like the ending to like an action movie, that was. That's probably the most action-oriented The Conjuring was right there. And by the way, I knew something was gonna happen to her right there and push her off the cliff. Okay, so what did I think of that trailer? There's quite a lot of stuff in there, there is. Well, first off, I love the look of the movie. The movie has got beautiful cinematography. The camera angles, I loved the way it transitioned from the real world to her getting into that, you know, otherworldly view that she has when she sees all the demonic stuff. I thought that was really good. And this whole waterbed thing was also pretty neat. This does definitely seem more like the investigation type thing, because they are trying to prove someone's innocence, a murderer's innocence, by saying that he was possessed by the devil. Now, the Warrens are based on characters in real life, and this is supposed to be one of their cases. Now, one thing I was thinking when watching this trailer is I can accept this for a movie when Ed Warren says that, you know, the court has always accepted, you know, the presence of God. I think it's about time now they accept the devil. In a movie, that sounds cool, but if he actually said that in real life, I feel like a lot of people would look at them like they're crazy. The same with a lot of stuff in here. It's like, oh, the devil made him do it. This guy's like, I believe in facts, like, the stuff he can see. And then she's like, I can see things that your people can't. It's like, this is cool movie stuff, but in real life, can you imagine how obnoxious this must be? But yeah, so that's just one thing I was thinking throughout this trailer when I was watching it. I was like, this would be very jarring and very kind of like absurd to many people in real life if they went to, you know, police and to the courts and said this kind of stuff. But in the movie, it's really, really cool. So I do like that. For the movie, this is like cool stuff. This is cool to take these characters, the Warrens, and put them in this kind of situation. I do like that. And I like how when she's running here, he's following her while she's in her own sort of like, you know, mind. You know, when she's looking at the afterlife or whatever. Not the afterlife. When she's looking at... Is it hell? Well, I don't know what to call her vision, but when she's in that zone, she's running, she doesn't know how far she's going, and I like how he's trying to follow her the whole way through. So they always keep that vision of hers fresh, in a way. So yeah, you can see as stuff is going on. This really is, again, beautiful cinematography. You don't see shots like this in a horror movie. But James Wan really set the bar with the first two Conjuring films, and then with the third one, you can tell they put in some money. And yeah, she's always crying and going, Ed. And then yeah, this was a really cool shot. And the great Conjuring music. This was like literally like a literal cliffhanger. This was. So it's a cliffhanger for the trailer. A cliffhanger for us. So in order to see what happens next, we need to see the movie. So it is like a literal cliffhanger. Like a cliffhanger ending, in a way. You know he's just gonna pull her up and that'll be it. But yeah, I really liked everything I saw in this trailer. Now the big problem I have is that this is not directed by James Wan. This is the first Conjuring movie to not be directed by him. He directed the first two films, and they are both so good that I have trouble picking which one I prefer. It really does depend on what mood you're in. So, for those of you that wanted me to do a versus video on it, you already get a little bit of a peek as to what my thoughts are on those two films. I do ultimately lean slightly more towards one of the movies, and I'll tell you that if I do a three-way versus video between these three films. But, so yeah, I love the first two Conjurings. They're some of my favourite horror movies ever made. I think they're right up there on my top 5 list, or maybe even higher. I need to think that through. But I do love the first two Conjuring movies. The third one, this one, it is directed not by James Wan. It's directed by a guy called Mike Shoves or something. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He directed The Curse of La Llorona, and I really didn't like that movie. The only good thing about that film was I think that priest that came, he was from Breaking Bad, he was surprisingly funny, which I didn't expect. And the other thing I liked about The Curse of La Llorona was the build-up to how she would appear in the room. That was very creative, but it was the payoff where everything fell flat in that movie. The payoff was very weak, and the kids were so stupid. They made their mother look like an abuser. It was just so stupid. I hated those kid characters in The Curse of La Llorona. Now, granted, The Conjuring 3 will have a better script, but this director's style is very different and not as inviting and scary as James Wan. James Wan got a very good balance. He would make it scary and inviting and accessible for people that aren't even really into horror movies, whilst also being accessible for those that really love horror movies. He did that very well, and I loved that tone he brought to it. I don't know if this director is able to bring that kind of tone to it. He might make it seem a little bit like an indie movie, which I really hope does not happen. Because The Conjuring, what I love about them is that it's very scary, but it's in the sense... It still comes across as a mainstream movie, which is easy to watch, it's very accessible, it's not obnoxious with like indie horror sort of like tones in there. And I really hope this director does not, you know, pull those obnoxious sort of like turns in this movie. I really would not like it if he did that. If he made this obnoxious horror. It needs to still be mainstream horror and accessible to all. James Wan did that very well. But yeah, if you look at this trailer, everything about it does seem really good. I really do like the look of all of this. It's just the director which is really concerning me. I have no doubt these two again, you know, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson will do an amazing job portraying these characters. They've done a fantastic job. Even in Annabelle Comes Home, which I wasn't that fond of, they did a really great job. We'll see how it goes. The trailer is very good, but I'm not holding my breath. I need to see the actual movie, and it's going to be coming on HBO Max, and it's going to be coming in theaters. And I got a brother, he says that he would have really liked to watch this in the cinema, even though we have a projector in my room, in this very room. He says he would prefer to have watched it in the cinema, and to be honest, I kind of wish I would too. With horror movies, it really has a big jump factor when there's a big loud noise in the cinema. You get that far more in the cinema than you do at home. But, you know, it's not the worst, it's not gonna be, you know, the be-all, end-all. If it's a good movie and a good scary movie, it should still hit you anyway. So, yeah, this is definitely one of my most anticipated movies of the year. And yeah, The Devil Made Me Do It. A bit of an odd and a long title, but it does get the point across. So yeah, you guys comment below and let me know what you thought of this trailer. Did you like it? Are you in the same boat with me, where the trailer looks cool, but you're very sort of like reserved because James Wan is not directing it? He's directing another movie this year called Malignant. He's already directed it, it's already complete, but due to the pandemic it's been pushed back, and that will also be released this year, I think August or something. And I'm looking very forward to that in a sense, but at the same time, a part of me really does wish he came back and made The Conjuring 3. Someone says to him, how come you've never made a trilogy? Like, you've done Insidious 1 and 2, but then you went straight to something else. You didn't make it Insidious 3 and make it your James Wan trilogy. They're saying the same with The Conjuring. You made The Conjuring 1 and 2, but you never came back for 3, so you didn't make it your trilogy. And he understands. He very funnily said, yeah, I'm not that kind of guy. so that's kind of funny from that point of view. And also, one last thing I'll say before we close off, because this is something I was thinking of here. This cliffhanger here, where she gets pulled down, it reminds me of that scene in Insidious 3, where the girl looks over her window. Where was it? The father looks over his window, over her window. He looks over, nothing is there. Then she looks over, and all of a sudden the demon is there, and it pulls her down. That reminded me very much of this, except I think that one was creepy because it was done in the dark. This one, creepy definitely, but because it's done in the light, it does take some of the edge off. And plus, that girl was like in bandages, was in casts, so she was like really sort of like injured, whereas Lorraine is more the main character. You know she's not going to get that hurt, even if she does get hurt. So that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching this reaction video. Stay tuned, as I've got plenty of other reaction videos I'll do when other trailers come out. And if there's any other trailers you want me to react to that have already come out recently that I have not covered, be sure to let me know and I'll get to doing reactions videos of them as well. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch all of you very soon. Take care.